For more on this, we can go to Matthew Kroenig. He's an expert on nuclear security at both Georgetown University and the Atlantic Council. And he joins me from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for joining us on Al Jazeera. And if I could just carry on from what Mike Hanna was just saying there, all eyes really now looking towards China. China, from what I understand, has held back really pushing extreme sanctions against North Korea before now, but will they accept this pressure from the rest of the Security Council, do you think, and really come down hard on North Korea?
Well, thanks for having me on. And in short, no, I don't think that China is going to put really tough pressure on North Korea. China, like the United States, would prefer that North Korea not have these nuclear and missile programs. But it's not their top priority. Their top priority is making sure North Korea continues to exist, trying to prevent the country from collapsing because they're afraid of refugee flows, afraid of the peninsula reuniting with Korea aligned with the United States and U.S. forces right on their border. So for all of these reasons, I think China will continue to put some pressure on North Korea, but not enough.
Mike also mentioned the Russian reaction before this meeting, saying that if you add more sanctions, you almost devalue the earlier sanctions. Do you agree with that position?
I don't agree with that. I think the only way to get North Korea to seriously discuss denuclearization will be to increase the pressure. So I think continuing to go through Russia and China is likely not going to work for the reasons I've mentioned. And so what I think has more promise is so-called secondary sanctions. The United States can bypass the governments and put sanctions directly on the firms and the banks in China and in Russia doing business with North Korea and work on those firms' pocketbooks, give them an incentive to cut off trade with North Korea. And I think that can start to put real pressure on Pyongyang and hopefully bring them to the table.
To switch to a different position, the North Koreans have said that they see the joint military exercises between South Korea and the US as almost a provocation, as a preparation for an invasion. Is this hyperbole, or do you think they actually do fear that is the position?
Well, I think it's probably both. I think they are in a dangerous, feel like they're in a dangerous security environment. But the United States and South Korea have been allies for decades, perfectly legal under international law for allies to conduct military exercises like this. The North Korea nuclear and missile program, on the other hand, is in violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions, so it's really comparing apples and oranges. And the North Koreans conduct their own military exercises, which are, dress rehearsals for an invasion of the South. So if they want to make a comparison, they should compare their exercises to the U.S. and South Korean exercises.
And there has been a suggestion that eventually one of these missiles will have to be shot down. What would be the reaction, do you think, at that point?
Well, that is an option that the United States and its allies have. They could shoot down one of these missiles. I am doubtful that we would actually do that unless the missile were coming toward a population center or actually toward a target, because I think we gain very little by shooting down one or two missile tests. Rather, I think the strategy needs to be to increase the pressure on North Korea kind of across the board and try to get them to the table and discuss denuclearization.
Very good to get your thoughts. Matthew Kroenig speaking to us there from Washington, D.C.